Thanks. So hi everyone, this is a quick update on some work being done within the operations working group around our data systems project. Our working group's focused on looking at the systems and guidance that we need to help everyone manage conservation projects and the information in them and integrate them with the rest of their organisation. If you could go to the next slide, thanks, Sarah. In terms of the strategic plan, we're playing in the area of the red boxes, talking about two topics today, work planning and reporting. It's all about trying to get the right systems in place that are easy to use and help you get on with your job, with the ultimate aim of goal 2 around having information available to enable this cross-project learning, as well as being sort of more efficient along the way. Next slide, thanks. So progress to date. Some of you, or many of you, would have been at the CMP retreat about a year or so ago. We had a workshop there, and out of that identified 6 key areas where we wanted to focus our efforts on systems support. We've finished the first phase of that project around analysing all the roles and user tasks that we needed to do. We presented that at the March call, if you recall that, but we've got what we call a broadsheet outlining all these 6 areas, the analysis we did and the needs we have. 2 of those areas, work planning and reporting, were identified as our initial priorities. And so that's what we've been doing since March. The other areas listed down the bottom left there are on the back burner till we make some progress on these 2. And there's a whole bunch of information on our workspace site if you want to dig into any details. Next slide, thanks. So the first topic is reporting, and I'll just ask Kari to quickly update you on how that part of the project's going.
Yeah, this is Kari Stiles. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I'm stalling because this looks like a slightly older version of the slide and my updates must not have gotten in there yet. We'll be doing another longer presentation on the Marathi template reporting at a future meeting either in December or in the winter, so I'll keep this super short. But what we're working on is developing some templates using Word that we can share with all of the Marathi user community, standalone Marathi projects in Marathi Share, as well as Marathi projects that are part of larger programs. And the goal is to use Word to develop the templates, but also generate reports in Word that pull Marathi content directly from the Marathi projects, like that snapshot that you see in the upper right, so that we can share information in a more compelling way with a wide variety of audiences. And what's shown here is just a list of the types of reports that our advisory group has been talking about, with the bold ones emphasized because those are what we're focusing on for standard reports in the beginning. And then we've been talking about the different audiences who might want to consume information from Marathi in a simpler report form. And if you'd like to get more information on this project, you can contact me. This is Kari Stiles at FOS, or Erica Cochran at ICF. And we have a great advisory group with a number of folks from TNC, NCC, Bush Heritage, and others, as well as some pilot users who will be helping us develop and test these. So Annette, I'll turn it back to you.
Great, thanks, Kari. Next slide, thanks, Sarah. So back onto work planning. Top right there, you can see our fabulous working group. We've got a terrific range of people from different organisations, different roles, different parts of the planet. So really great input to this, and thanks to the folks that are on the call as part of that group. I think we're making some great progress. We've got a theory of change for all of our data systems work about trying to build better systems. Don't worry too much about the detail, but to date we've been focused on the sort of bottom left part, which is around really understanding exactly what we need, in this case in work planning, and coming up with a plan for how to develop that. We're now starting to turn our attention to the top row, getting the organisations involved and engaged so that we can ultimately get the resourcing in place to move on to the right, where we can develop the module. So what we're showing today is primarily sort of the bottom left part of the work we're trying to do. Next slide, thanks, Sarah. So on the left there's the conservation standards cycle. Work planning is primarily around step 3, the implement step. So what we did as a working group was we collated all of the information that we got in phase 1, grouped those up into stories, which is an approach for developing systems for related tasks, prioritised them, and then we started looking at products that are out there, commercial off-the-shelf products, and compared them against the stories. Certainly when I went into this, my assumption was that there's certainly a gazillion project management type tools out there, and they're really good. They do what they do really well, really helpful. And my thoughts were we could build an interface from the early stages of a project, so the plan that comes out of Marathi, interface to these other project products, and let them manage the day-to-day work of getting that work implemented, and get some information back to feed into the analyze and adapt step and the information in Marathi there. That was the plan going in, but it's not quite what happened. If you could go to the next slide. What we learned by doing all that analysis, and Sarah, next slide, thanks. I'm not seeing it at this end. Cool, thanks. Was that while these products do what they do really well, and there's definitely a role for them there, it's a much narrower range of tasks that they do compared to what we need. And what we've concluded is that we need to actually extend the capabilities in Marathi much further, well into step 3. There's already some functions supported there, but there's a bunch that aren't. Potentially interface off in some way to these other products to do what they do well, which is the task management stuff, and then pull information back to do more in Marathi. So we're into needing a much bigger development effort within Marathi than what we had originally expected. Next slide, thanks. So where we're at right now is we've costed what it's going to take to build all these stories, the range, and it depends on exactly priorities and what we do, is 300,000 to 700,000. We're now preparing all the materials around a case, making a case for that, a clear business case around costs and benefits, and then coming up with materials to help people get engaged with this work. So if you in your organisation need better support for work planning, we're keen to chat, work out how we could help you, contact decision makers, how together we can get more engagement on this and ultimately start getting the funding on board and pool our resources and move on with this development. So happy to take any questions, but please get in touch if this area is of interest to you. Thanks.